Hi, everybody. Welcome to the May energy update. It's kind of funny. I actually just had to sit and do a little meditation before jumping on here because I hadn't really tapped into May yet. And normally I kind of start to get little bits and tidbits kind of coming through maybe the week or so before I'm coming up to do these little energy updates. And I actually hadn't had a whole lot of that. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And I thought, is it just me because I wasn't really tapping in? And I thought, no, there's something about this kind of stillness and this pause and this peacefulness. And yet at the same time, something very wonder and childlike of going inwards. So we'll talk about a few of the themes that actually just came up even in that little meditation I was doing. One of them was deeply about embracing and bringing back the light. And I'll describe a little bit more of what I feel and pick up from what I mean by that. But it's this aspect of self that was, in certain ways, has been forgotten on a lot of levels because of our busy lives and all the things. But I think there's been so much that's been brought up in the last few months of this year, especially. We knew that this was going to be a big year for integration into the physical reality of where we are now, where a lot of it was energy before, it was all prep. And now it's actually happening, right? It's being integrated in these ways. And change is happening whether people like it or not. And it is a big year for integration into the physical. And I know that these first 6 months we're going to feel, for some, very turbulent, for some others very like they're finding that alignment, finding their peace in themselves, or finding where their feet want to go, running with creative pieces of self. So it was going to be kind of a two different type of experiences, maybe, and then maybe a bit of mix of both for some. But it seems to be now where it's coming back around to the collective. And what I mean by that is to find and bring forth the light once more. It needs to be brought within self first. And then in this way, it reconnects the collective consciousness, and raises that frequency the more that people choose to do that for self. And so I know these last few months have really been about self more so, and really focusing on, what's been going on in our own lives and reflecting and choosing and deciding and choosing consistency in, this last month of April. What are you going to put your focus on? What are you going to run towards? Where do you want to put your time and energy, right? And in May comes a stillness, and it's really beautiful, and it's like they just heard them say calm before the storm. And it's not in a bad way, not at all. It's not a storm of chaos that's going to come up and just like completely uproot your life. That's likely already happened in the last few months, even back into the last few years. But this is a calm before the storm of a really beautiful sensation of a recognition that this is true change. It's almost like they just keep showing me more light switches come on, in the collective energy of this awareness piece of, we start remembering more and more who we are. We start to remember more of what we are capable of, even as being human, what we are able to integrate here, into our own, not just our own lives, but as that collective energy continues to ascend into something very different than what we've maybe ever experienced before. This is a real time of beauty and a sensation of, can you see through the chaos of change this incredible stillness and light that can be integrated and brought back into yourselves, that then illuminates and shines even your own path. um it's this connectedness of one once more, of not forgetting that we are all connected at the energetic level, and that we are all one at that sensation of source, of where we've come from, God, source, universe, whatever you'd like to call it. But there is this collective of one source energy. And to remember that we are all here for, yes, our own experiences, but many of us are also here to help the collective move forward into different spaces of time, of creating something very different. And it's not to say that everybody's here to do that, but I guarantee you, if you're sitting here listening to it, it's probably something deep inside of you that says they want something different or something more. Maybe you have been feeling really big changes coming up for you, or know that there's something larger going to happen this year for you. And if it scares you, I would, suggest to you to take this month of May and really sit with that light within yourself, and allow yourself to understand the clarity of, okay, if I have these feelings of knowing there's something more, why am I holding myself back? Because these pieces that are highly like, it's so potent, you guys. Like I can't even describe to you that May is going to be this month where if you truly embrace it and you can sit with all the aspects of yourself and bring the light to every piece, even if it feels heavy and dark when you're, maybe experiencing it, and you sit and you allow your inner power to come and support you in this way. Now, this is a big difference than just asking your teams to come in and support you, okay? And what I mean by that is like there's this different level that you have to be able to access yourself on a higher power, a higher level of light. There is these incredible codes that they keep showing me that, yes, have been hitting our earth for the last few years, but something within the last little bit here with the big shift that happened at the end of March and what's been going on in the galactics and the universal energy, there has been more and more, in a sense, light codes coming into people's bodies, our earth, and they're coming more to an awareness of understanding that there's this very potent, beautiful sensation of light and stillness and peace. But it's almost possibly where some might fear it because it seems like it's some kind of power within ourselves that a lot of us are unsure of actually accepting. But it is being asked of us now, can we stand in the peace and the stillness and accept more fully these pieces of ourselves that are being presented? And basically, it's going to be like a DNA upgrade as well into the physical body, the more that we are able to bring the light in. It's very different than just simply asking your team to help you, right? And what I mean by that is you're not necessarily asking your team to help you in doing this. You can, but you might not notice them being so involved. This is a time to claim more of who we are as an individual, but also who we are as a collective that is rising, that is choosing change, that we are on this precipice of massive things happening on our planet right now, as ugly as they might look right now, but it is a precipice of change. And they're asking, can you take this time that's being presented to embrace it into who you are and allow that to be shared in the collective? And like I said, the more people I see doing this and taking a moment and being more present and allowing that light to fill them in a different way than probably they ever have before, whether you've been in this world for a long time or not, or whether this has been a part of your life for a long time or not, these are different times, different things. The light is so powerful, it almost will want to bring tears to your eyes. It'll be this space that when you truly accept and allow for this light to fill you, it is going to be a sensation of incredible support, love, and yet a connectedness that I don't think many are truly resonant with yet. It's going to be powerful. And yet, because of that, it maybe seems rather scary for some people. And that is where I would ask you to challenge yourself and ask yourself why. It's not to say that there's more inner work to do here. It's more of an embracing. And the more you embrace, the more things just become more aligned. It's like they keep showing me synchronicities and these things that start to happen by simply just embracing and allowing for a flow of this energy and through the collective, that so much help is being sent to us here on earth right now because we are going through large changes. And yet we have free will. So we have to be able to still accept, right? We still have to be the ones to say yes. So that's a really big one for May. There's few other things where they're kind of bringing up what I would call the glass box. And what I mean by that is where some might feel as though they're the ones in the glass box watching a lot of things still moving around them, but they're very, very much not affected by whatever they're kind of seeing. It's a state of being where you're more accepting maybe of neutrality, or you're just, realizing everybody else's actions do not need to necessarily impact me unless I let them. It's that, again, a stillness, but in a little bit of a different way. And again, this is going to be for whatever and wherever you are on your journey will be exactly and perfect for you at that right moment. It's like, I feel like they're kind of having me speak about a little bit, a couple different ways this might show up for people, just depending on where you are and depending on what's going on and depending on, what is happening around you as well. So there becomes a stillness where maybe, yeah, the glass box deal where you see it all, you understand, that's all out there, but it doesn't need to affect me. And I am not choosing to play in those fields necessarily. And yet you can still watch and not be enticed to choose sides or to choose something that doesn't align with you. And there is no necessarily, I want to say, repercussions for that from others because you're not choosing. But at the same time, there is poison being spat. And I hate to say it like that, but it's the only way I could probably describe what I'm seeing. Um, and what I mean by that is people are still wanting to kind of spit because they're resisting, right? And it's at such a peak now that some people are flailing and trying to do everything they can to make everybody else the problem or the external factors of the life the problem. And they're really unwilling to accept any kind of responsibility of self, and that it was a challenge or something to be dealt with in a different way. And yet they're still choosing old patterns, old things to do. And that's okay. But again, it's this recognition of understanding that some may still want to spit poison with the energy or the words that they're choosing. And again, it might not be coming consciously, like they might not intentionally be trying to hurt others, but subconsciously that may be something what they do to make themselves feel more safe. So if you find things are falling away, or certain people are falling away, or relationships are kind of falling away, just let them, because it is a natural state of when you choose to be in that flow and let the universe take them where they need to go. That might not always be in alignment with where you're at, and to not be upset by that factor, because it doesn't mean it's forever, but it might be a period of time where space is needed so that you are able to still move in the direction you're wanting to, and achieve and be a part of whatever you're asking for. And if that person or those situations, or could be even jobs. Like maybe stuff is starting to blow up at work, or maybe it has already started and it just hasn't quite hit peak, right? It could be even things like that. It could be coworkers, it could be family members, it could be friendships, it could be all sorts of different pieces to this. But they're asking the stillness to be accepted. And if one can't accept the stillness and be a part of the stillness, then these things where the water is going to continue to move things out of the way for your own current to continue to take you wherever it is that looks like for you and your journey. So recognize and know that that's still going to be a little bit of a theme that continues. I know that did start to come up a little bit even prior months, but this is more intense where it feels more done. And again, not forever necessarily, but it might need to be for now for you to be able to move in the directions that you're looking to move, whether you're conscious of those moves or not. Your higher self is. That's part of that light. And the more you embrace that light and allow that to become a part of who you are, and accept that help and support, and recognize this togetherness that exists in the realms, and that illusion of separation here is just something human, and that it doesn't truly exist. Yet so many here believe it does, because we seem like we're so 3D. This is my life, this is my experience. Yes, it is, but at the same time, you're still connected to this higher level of energy that exists as who you truly are, because you are not human. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. And I know that's said by many, but it seems really important for the month of May to remember who you truly are. That is what it is, accepting and experiencing the light, is to remember who you truly are. And have no judgment. They keep saying have no judgment towards anything that may come up for you throughout the month of May. That maybe you have a light bulb moment and you recognize something in yourself that one might call a shadow side of self, or the darker thoughts, or the duality and the polarity that exists on this earth as it's supposed to. It's a part of our experience here. It's why we've chosen to come here. We come to experience these things because we cannot experience that at an energetic level. It doesn't exist out there. Earth is kind of special in that, right, in the way of we forget who we are for a reason, because we came in to have this very deep experience of the 3D, but also remembering who we are, embracing that and bringing that forward into the times we're in right now. We're in massive shifts, you guys. I don't know if you haven't picked up on that yet, but we are in massive shifts on our planet right now. That you will hear some say talk about the 25,000 year, portion of when the Earth changes and does these shifts or accepts different opportunities or timelines. And yet at the same time, it's even more than that this time, because we're doing it a little different than we've ever done it before. We have this opportunity ahead of us. And it's not to put that as a burden on everybody's shoulder, but I want you to remember you came here for a reason. You wanted to be a part of this. No matter what it might seem like in your life right now, you wanted to be a part of this incredible shift that is happening. And I am telling you, I can sit in meditation, and these other collectives and beings and guides and all the people and things that exist outside of planet Earth are in awe watching and connecting with us here because they think it is an amazing opportunity that we have to participate in something so massive that happens such a long amount of time in between these spaces. So remember the larger picture, especially if life seems a little tough right now. Remember that this is an experience, and the more light you choose to accept and truly embrace and use your voice and speak up for yourself. Because what's the worst thing that could happen? And if you need to play out that scenario, play it out and then find out why you're so scared to still make the move. Because fear will never go away. Fear is never going to go away. Fear is the one thing for our physicality that normally would keep us safe from survival mode, right? Is, the lion going to come out of the freaking trees and attack me today? But that lion has now become this illusion that lives in the mind a lot of the time. Because if you really think about the things that scare you and you really thought, am I going to die, from that fear? Is something truly actually going to take me out? Very, 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 very often it's going to be no. So the sensation of recognizing that you are more and that there is this light and there is this stillness, and by truly being in that and making a move towards that, and by making that move towards that is what brings clarity. For you to just continue to stand still, you're never going to actually get clarity because the universe asks for motion. And when we stand still, we're putting the dam behind us of energy and stopping it. And we're trying to hold it all in place because we want to know where's our next step. If that's where you're at, embrace the light and these pieces that are being offered. And this upgrade is what I want to call it, that is going to come in May for so many of us. But don't panic. It's going to be a little more gentle than what some of these shifts have been. It's not the same kind of thing. Okay. It's a little bit different. So in the moments of day to day, whether you're driving, whether you're getting your kids ready for school, whether you're doing this or that, and this busyness seems to be there, is where they ask to take a breath and invite in stillness and invite in this peace. And it's not to say that we're asking to stand still for 15 minutes, but you can do it even while you're moving, while you're going on with daily life, and that you ask to be a part of that light and allow that to come in. And you will know it. It's going to be instantaneous. You're going to notice the immense sense of calm that may come in that exact moment because you are choosing to allow more of that in. Okay. They're showing me mid-May is probably going to be where it's the most intense. And then as we get closer to the end of May, it's going to kind of taper down a little bit. So it's not going to be as high intensity, but it will still be there. And I don't think it's going to necessarily go away come June, but I think the intensity of where it's sitting right now is powerful. It's going to be a powerful month. It's going to be a powerful month. And again, wherever you maybe want to focus that light, if there is something you're wanting to work towards, you can ask for more of that light to guide you in that direction. Again, just remembering that this is a little bit different than just working with your teams or your guides. If you know them well, it is going to be a bit of a different sensation, and it will be a different kind of empowering that you'll feel within not just your physical body, but mentally. It'll just become this kind of electric, very clear, solid, more solid, I would say, feeling. Whereas I know some people can go on a meditation, get something similar, but this is like long lasting, if that makes sense. This is that integration into the physical. So there you have the big part of May is going to be that stillness and the calm and the light that's going to be offered. And can you accept that light? Can you be with that in even the daily basis of everything that might be going on? Can you have the compassion of your heart to understand where and what others may do, but still not allow it to affect you? And it's not sympathy, okay? Because sympathy is kind of in the line of saying a victim. And we don't want to empower that part of self, but we do want to empower the part of self that allows for compassion of understanding. And when you embrace that light, you see people for more of who they actually are rather than the masks that they wear. Okay, it's a type of empowerment for self that allows you to see the world not only very differently, but also to have the compassion maybe, but also to not get wrapped up into the 3D so much, and that it allows for this capacity of movement that maybe wasn't necessarily always available so easily before. It's different this time. So I hope this helps you with moving into the next month. And thank you all so much for listening. And please do hit the subscribe button if you like our having the podcast and being notified. If you hit the subscribe, then it will give you that whenever a new episode drops. And I hope you have the most wonderful next month.